Hey everyone, welcome back to another Router Gods video. My name's Humphrey, your friendly neighborhood Thai language student forever. One thing I get asked a lot, and you see in Reddit, people come to Thailand, they're learning Thai, and when you go out to talk to people, talk to employees in Thai, they will either not talk to you in Thai, or they'll speak one or two sentences and they'll switch to English. And I know this can be frustrating for a lot of people because you don't know what's going on. You're thinking, they should talk Thai to me. What's going on? The employees at the Starbucks and the McDonald's, etc., they're not there to teach you Thai. That's not their purpose. Their purpose is to get people through the line, through the restaurant as fast as possible. When you go to Starbucks, there's a long line and you're trying to get your order and you're just messing up the Thai, the tones aren't right, you're going, I don't know, That person at the cash register, they're not going to talk to you in Thai because they've made the decision in their head that this person's Thai is bad. If I speak to them in Thai, it's going to take a long time. I've got 5 people in line. Retail and restaurant employees, when they're at the cashier, they log into the register, they log into the point of sale system, and now they're being tracked on how many people they can get through per hour. I used to work for Panda Express at corporate, and we know this, right? When you go to Panda Express and the person logs in, they can get an average of how many seconds each customer takes, and this employee is slower than the other employee, and if you are too slow, you get talked to. Maybe your Thai is not that great. Maybe they're switching to English because your Thai sucks, and it's easier for them to get you through the line if they speak English. You can have success, more success, if let's say you're at a Starbucks and you're not talking to the cashier, or if it's not busy. Talking to the employees outside of the cashier area tends to be more successful. So in the restaurants, once you get past the cashier, you get the employees that are working the floor. So working the floor means they're cleaning up the tables, they're throwing the glasses away, they're picking up the trays, they're bussing all this stuff. Those employees tend to be a little bit more open to speaking Thai. Probably the best situation you'll find for speaking Thai is your Grab and Bolt car rides. You're not doing anything else. You're just sitting in the car. There's an awkward silence. Maybe he's got the radio playing, but you got nothing else. Why not speak Thai to your driver? Why not, right? And depending on your driver, this is usually how it goes, is the first couple minutes you're speaking to them in Thai, they're judging, either consciously or subconsciously, they're judging how much Thai can you speak. Is this person a couple sentences, a couple words? Is this person able to have a long conversation? Can this person go into politics? Like what's the boundaries here on where this person will go? Generally for normal people, so if they're not well versed in speaking with tourists, and if they don't have an education background, generally what you will see is 0 to 100. Saudi cop, Saudi cop. Okay, let's go all the way into politics. They'll just skip all the way talking into economics and set to get, then are you retired? And then you'll be like, whoa, what's going on? Whereas someone who's more skilled in talking with tourists or the education background, they'll kind of go up and say, okay, can this person talk about agak, weather, hayu, storms, Nam Tuam, flooding, can we go there? Can we talk about cost of living? Can we talk, so they'll kind of lead you into different areas of speech, because even if you've been a Thai language student for a couple of years, like I have, there are certain areas where I'm good in, and there are certain areas where I suck. So weirdly enough, medical terminology. So if you took me into medical terminology, bleeding, high blood pressure, diabetes, all that stuff, I'm actually okay with, because I recently had shingles. I had to go to the hospital multiple times a week, and I had to learn the lingo, and that sticks with you. So if we go into medical stuff, I'm good. If we have to go into technical stuff, I'm good because I come from that background. You will get the most, I think you will get the most value out of longer conversations because it may take you a couple minutes to get your brain in gear from zero to like, okay, now we're talking time, words will start coming back. And I've noticed this too, is if I don't have my cup of coffee, my brain isn't firing on all cylinders, I get into a bolt ride, and then you start talking in Thai, and then after 2 minutes, all the words start coming back, and you go, okay, now we can hang with what's going on. So yeah, just the longer car rides will definitely help you versus going into a store, going into a Starbucks and saying 2 or 3 sentences. That's cool. Like that's what I would call table stakes. You should be able to do that. Bartenders. So this happened in Khon Kaen. In Khon Kaen is the Adlib Hotel, 28th floor, the bar up the top. The best office view in Khon Kaen. On top of the Adlib Hotel, Khon Kaen, at the bar. Bartender is more than happy to speak Thai, and yeah, because I mean you're paying 330 baht for the drink, and if you've been living in a location for a long time, you'll notice that there are motorcycle taxi stands around, and these motorcycle taxi stands usually have around 4 to 5 people. Most of the time, the taxi row in certain hours, they're just hanging out, especially late at night. So what I noticed when I was living at Pratam Nak, so Pratam Nak, when I was there for 2 years, I didn't rent a motorcycle. I used the motorcycle taxis to go down to Pattaya and motorcycle taxis to go up to Pattaya. So you're using those folks every single day, multiple times a day, and you get to know them after a while. You get to know their names, you get to know their families, you get to, like, all their faces are burned into my memory. So what I would do is, number one, stage one is you're talking to them during the ride, and you're talking to them as you're walking up, and sometimes you may have to wait. So you may have a situation where even though there's 3 people there and you walk up, it may not be their turn yet. So the person who's up for taking you for a ride is eating in the bathroom or something like that. They'll be back in a couple minutes. So that gives you a nice opportunity to ask a couple questions. My go-to question, so if you're kind of early on and you've just trying to get to know them, is they're a amazing resource to know about the neighborhood. Hey guys, what's how's the neighborhood like? Are thereคนต่างชาติ มีคนต่างชาติเยอะ มีคนจีนเยอะ มีคน Russian เยอะ? Are there a lot of Russians? Are there a lot of Chinese? How's this condo? How's that condo? Are there a lot of accidents? Is the crime here? So just ask about the neighborhood. They know, they see it all. They see it all. On like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, when you're done about 11 p.m., Pratam Nak Hill, there's just like 4 or 5 taxi guys waiting. They haven't had a ride in like 30 minutes. They're watching TV, they're listening to the radio, some of them are taking a nap. And there was a 7-Eleven nearby. And a lot of weeks I'd be like, well, I'm not doing anything in my condo, right? I'm just kind of hanging out. So I would go to 7-Eleven and I would buy, I'm not going to say alcohol because that's kind of bad to get motorcycle taxi guys drunk, but I would buy a couple drinks, large bottles of stuff, and I'd go to the motorcycle taxi guys and go like, hey man, how's it going? Here's some chamanao yan, iced tea, here's water, here's other drinks, and just start talking to them, right? And if you're a little shy about this, is like, no one has ever said no. And all the times I've done this, every day you're learning new words. And so I would go up to the motorcycle taxi guys, and they all know I'm going to school. They'd be like, oh, hey, how's it going? So I go, hey, I learned a new word yesterday. And they're like, what's new? Upati-het. I'm like, oh, upati-het. So like this whole taxi ride for the 10-minute taxi ride from Pratam Nak Hill down to Central Festival, we'll be trying to use the word upati-het. Be careful with cost of living, because I said that to one of my Bolt drivers in Chiang Mai, and I got an earful. Holy crap. That was like, so that instead of turning from me talking, that was a 20-minute them spewing out how much cost of living has risen, which is kind of fine with me. I was like, wow, this person's kind of going off. I mean, they're going off like, well, it takes this percentage and every year it keeps going up and the special stuff. Yeah, it's just all this stuff. Okay, Humphrey in Karad, if you have any questions or comments, as always, put them in the section below and I will answer them or make a completely different video about it. But talk to you later. Stay safe and take care. Bye.